The Great Hall on Earth was unlike anything the captured galactic leaders had ever seen. War Chief Gildong sat in restraints that felt comfortable but could not be broken, surrounded by representatives from every species that had opposed humanity. Admiral Boram was there, along with dozens of other military commanders who had thought they could defeat the humans through force. Supreme Chancellor He Jin entered the hall with quiet authority. She was not a large woman, but her presence filled the entire room. Behind her came the entire Human High Council, each member representing millions of humans who had spent their lives preparing for this moment. Leaders of the galactic community, He Jin began, you are here because you chose to attack humanity rather than listen to our warning. Before you face judgment, you will learn the complete truth. Gildong struggled against his restraints. We do not want your lies. We know what you are, conquerors hiding behind false warnings. Dr. Youngmi stepped forward carrying a data device that projected floating images into the air above them. War Chief, everything we told your council was true, but it was not the complete truth. The complete truth is far worse. The images showed the Devourer's previous attacks in terrible detail. Species after species consumed, their knowledge absorbed, their strengths added to the Devourer collective. The Devourers do not just destroy civilizations, Dr. Youngmi explained. They learn from them. Every military tactic, every weapon design, every strategic plan of the species they consume becomes part of their knowledge. Admiral Boram studied the images with growing horror. How many civilizations have they destroyed? In this galaxy cluster alone? Over 4,000, each one more advanced than your current galactic civilization. Supreme Chancellor Hyejin turned on another display. This one showed the Devourer fleet in detail. Each ship was different, using design elements from hundreds of destroyed species. When they return to this galaxy, they will come with the combined knowledge of 4,000 civilizations. They will know every weakness, every strength, every tactical approach that any known species has ever developed. Dr. So-min, who had been brought to Earth to witness this revelation, stared at the data in shock. But if they are that powerful, how can anyone defeat them? Commander Dongmin stepped forward. By using tactics and technology they have never encountered. By being something they have never seen before. The display changed to show human development over the past 5,000 years. While other species had advanced gradually, humanity had focused everything on a single goal, becoming unpredictable. We did not just hide from the Devourers, Dongmin explained. We evolved. We became something that has never existed in this universe before. Captain Hyunwoo, who had been brought as a witness, watched as the humans revealed their true capabilities. Ships that could exist in multiple dimensions at the same time. Weapons that attacked the basic forces of matter itself. Soldiers who could move through solid objects at will. None of this technology exists anywhere else in the known universe, Supreme Chancellor He Jin said. The Devourers have never faced it because no one has ever developed it. But why the deception? Admiral Boram demanded. Why make us believe you were conquerors? Dr. Youngmi brought up another display. This one showed detailed evacuation plans for every inhabited world in the galaxy. Because, Admiral, in order to save the galaxy, we must first control it completely. The plans were staggering in their scope. Massive arc ships capable of carrying entire populations. Detailed logistics for evacuating 8 trillion sentient beings. Resource allocation strategies that spanned decades. Every secret agent we placed, Supreme Chancellor He Jin explained. Every government we infiltrated, every military secret we learned. It was all for this. The largest evacuation in galactic history. War Chief Gildong stared at the plans in disbelief. Evacuation? You are planning to abandon the galaxy? We are planning to save it, corrected Admiral Insu, commander of the Arc Fleet Project. The Devourers can be defeated, but not by standing and fighting. They must be led into a trap, and that trap requires the galaxy to appear abandoned. The display showed the full scope of humanity's plan. Phase 1 involved the complete evacuation of all galactic civilization to prepared refugees in parallel dimensions. Phase 2 would allow the Devourers to enter the galaxy and begin their feeding process. Phase 3 would be humanity's counterattack, using weapons and tactics the Devourers had never encountered. The evacuation will take exactly 18 months, Evacuation Coordinator Nari reported. But it requires complete cooperation from every species. No exceptions. Captain Hyunwoo felt overwhelmed by the scale of it all. And if species refuse to cooperate? Then they die when the devourers arrive, Supreme Chancellor Hai Jin said simply. We cannot save those who refuse to be saved. Dr. So-min studied the tactical projections. This plan requires absolute trust. Every species must place their entire population in human hands. Yes. And after the devourers are defeated? What guarantee do we have that humanity will return our freedom? Supreme Chancellor He Jin was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of 5,000 years of preparation. Dr. So-min, you have no guarantees except our word. We could lie to you, promise freedom, and then impose permanent human rule. But consider this. If we wanted to conquer the galaxy, we could have done it at any time over the past 3,000 years. Instead, we protected you from threats you did not know existed. War Chief Gildong struggled with the reality of the situation. So our choice is slavery or death. Your choice, Admiral Insu replied, is temporary surrender or permanent extinction. The room fell silent as the captured leaders absorbed the magnitude of what they faced. The floating displays showed the approaching Devourer fleet, still decades away but inevitably coming. Ambassador Seok Jin, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. Supreme Chancellor, how do we know this is not an elaborate deception? How do we know the Devourers even exist? Dr. Youngmi turned on one final display. This one showed real-time sensor data from the edge of the galaxy. Because, Ambassador, they just entered our galactic neighborhood. Our most recent scans show the first Devourer scouts have reached the outer rim. They are 47 years ahead of schedule. The data was unmistakable. Dark ships were moving through the outer systems, consuming everything in their path. Entire star systems were going dark as the creatures fed. Supreme Chancellor He Jin stood up. Leaders of the galaxy, you now know everything. Humanity offers you survival at the cost of your temporary freedom. We will evacuate your populations, fight the Devourers in your place, and return your worlds to you when the danger has passed. And if we refuse? Gildong asked. Then you face the Devourers with your current technology and current knowledge. Every civilization that has tried this approach has been consumed. Dr. So-min looked at Captain Hyunwoo. She could see the same terrible understanding in his eyes that she felt in her heart. Captain, she whispered, I think I am beginning to understand. The humans are not asking us to trust them because they are kind. They are asking us to trust them because they are the only ones strong enough to do what must be done. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. The question is, do we trust them to keep their word about returning our freedom? Supreme Chancellor He Jin heard their whispered conversation. Captain Hyunwoo, Dr. So-min, your doubt is healthy. But consider this. Freedom means nothing to the dead. She pointed to the displays showing the approaching Devourer fleet. The evacuation begins in 90 days. Every world, every species, every individual must be ready. Those who cooperate will survive. Those who resist will be left to face the Devourers alone. As the human leaders prepared to leave, War Chief Gildong called out one final question. And after the Devourers are gone? What then? Supreme Chancellor He Jin paused at the doorway. Then, War Chief, we return to our parallel dimension and resume our watch. As we have always done. As we always will do. The captured leaders were left alone with their impossible choice. Surrender their freedom to humanity, or watch their civilizations join the thousands of others that had been consumed by the darkness between the stars. The galaxy was tearing itself apart. 3 weeks had passed since humanity's warning, and the Galactic Council was split into 3 angry groups. Ambassador Seok Jin stood in his private office watching news reports of protests and riots across dozens of worlds. The peaceful coalition grows stronger each day, his helper reported. 47 species have agreed to accept human protection. They believe cooperation is the only way to survive. Seokjin nodded with a heavy heart. His group wanted to trust the humans, but trust was becoming harder each day. Strange accidents kept happening to coalition leaders. Ship breakdowns, communication failures, security problems that revealed embarrassing secrets. What about the opposition? He asked. War Chief Gildong has united 63 species under the banner of galactic independence. They are calling for immediate military action against Earth before humanity can strike first. On the other side of the galaxy, War Chief Gildong was meeting with Fleet Admiral Boram in a heavily protected underground bunker. The Apex warrior's massive body was tense with barely controlled anger. The humans think they can scare us with their magic tricks, he growled. But every species has weaknesses. Every technology can be beaten. Admiral Boram studied the battle displays surrounding them. Gildong, I share your concerns about human control, but their technological advantage is real. A direct fight could be suicide. Better to die fighting than to live as slaves. Boram turned on a floating image showing human ship movements around Earth. Our intelligence reports suggest they are building something massive in their home system. If we are going to act, it must be soon. What neither of them knew was that their intelligence reports were exactly what humanity wanted them to see. In a hidden facility on Earth's moon, Intelligence Director Wu Jin watched their communications with cold efficiency. The opposition is taking the bait perfectly, he reported to his superior. They believe they are seeing our real military preparations. And the leaked documents? Asked Director Nari. Distributed exactly as planned. Both factions now have access to secret human files showing detailed invasion plans for every major galactic capital. The leaked documents were devastating. They showed that humanity had spent centuries mapping every government building, every military base, and every strategic resource in the galaxy. Worse, they showed that humans had placed secret agents in positions of power throughout galactic civilization. Captain Hyunwoo discovered this when he returned to his ship after the council meeting. His trusted communications officer, who had served with him for 8 years, was gone. In his place sat a young woman he had never seen before. Who are you? He demanded. Lieutenant Min Jung, sir. I have been assigned to replace Officer Kang Ho. Where is Kang Ho? Called back for medical evaluation, sir. Did you not receive the orders? Hyunwoo felt his blood turn cold. He had received no such orders. When he checked his personal files, he found messages he had never seen before, approving the personnel change and signed with his own command codes. Dr. So Min found him later, sitting alone in his quarters. The humans are everywhere, he said quietly. How long have they been controlling our communications? Our personnel files? Our ship assignments? So Min sat beside him. She had spent weeks studying human technology and was beginning to understand its terrifying scope. Captain, I do not think they are trying to control us. I think they are trying to protect us from something worse. By replacing my crew with their agents, by making sure they know what is happening in real time. Captain, the Devourers are good at infiltration too. What if some of those accidents and breakdowns are not human sabotage? What if they are Devourer scouts testing our defenses? Before Hyunwoo could respond, alarms began screaming throughout the ship. The main display showed a massive fleet approaching Earth. Over 3,000 ships from 60 different species, all flying under War Chief Gildong's banner. The opposition has made their move, So-min whispered. On the bridge of the Apex battleship Dominator, Gildong watched Earth grow larger on his screens. The planet looked peaceful, almost defenseless. Only a few dozen human ships were visible nearby. Admiral Boram, are you certain this is wise? Asked one of his subordinates. The humans have not shown their full fleet. That is because they do not have a full fleet, Boram replied confidently. Our intelligence suggests they have perhaps 200 ships total. We outnumber them 15-1. Gildong showed his teeth in a hunting smile. Today we show the galaxy that humans are not gods. They can be defeated. The attack began with a massive missile barrage. Thousands of weapons streaked toward Earth, enough firepower to crack a planet's surface. But as they approached the human homeworld, something impossible happened. The missiles simply disappeared. No explosions, no energy flashes. They vanished as if they had never existed. What happened to our weapons? Gildong demanded. Unknown, sir. They just stopped existing. Then the human ships began to move, and the opposition fleet learned the true meaning of terror. The humans did not dodge the attackers' weapons. They moved through them like ghosts. Energy beams passed harmlessly through human hulls while the human ships fired back with weapons that seemed to ignore shields and armor completely. Captain Minji of the human vessel, Prometheus watched the battle with professional detachment. Beside her, Captain Hyunwoo stood in stunned silence. The humans had brought him aboard their ship to witness what they called humanity's burden. Your people are brave, Minji said, as another opposition ship fell apart under human weapons. But bravery without proper knowledge is just another form of suicide. The battle was over in less than an hour. The massive opposition fleet was completely defeated, but not a single ship had been destroyed. Instead, they had all been disabled and captured. Why? Hyunwoo asked. Why not destroy them? Because, Minji replied, Every ship we destroy is one less evacuation vessel when the Devourers arrive. Dr. Somin, who was studying human battle displays, made a disturbing discovery. Captain Minji, these weapons, they are not designed to kill. They are designed to disable and capture. Correct. Even your ship positioning during the battle. You were not trying to cause maximum damage. You were trying to minimize casualties while studying their tactics. Minji nodded with approval. Very observant, Dr. Somin. This was never about defeating the opposition fleet. It was about learning how galactic military thinking has evolved since our last major analysis. The horrible truth began to dawn on Hyunwoo. You wanted them to attack. We needed them to attack, Minji corrected. The Devourers will use similar tactics when they arrive. Now we know exactly how current galactic military thinking works under pressure. Intelligence Director Wu Jin appeared on the bridge via floating image. The captured fleet commanders are ready for questioning. We should have complete tactical profiles within the day. And the political situation? Minji asked, as expected. The peaceful coalition is horrified by the opposition's defeat, but grateful that casualties were minimal. The isolationist faction is using the battle as proof that resistance is hopeless. Dr. So-min felt sick. You planned all of this. The leaked documents, the personnel changes, even the timing of the attack. Dr. So-min, Minji said gently, we have been planning everything for 5,000 years. Every scenario, every possible response, every political development. We know how each species will react because we have been studying them since before their civilizations reached the stars. Captain Hyunwoo stared out at the disabled opposition fleet. What happens to them now? They will be released with a message for their governments. The message is simple. Resistance is futile, but cooperation offers survival. And if they refuse to cooperate? Minji's expression grew sad. Then they will face the Devourers with inferior technology and predictable tactics. The result will be extinction. Through the windows, they could see human ships moving among the captured vessels. Teams were boarding each ship not to loot or destroy, but to study and catalog everything they found. You are not conquering us, Somin realized. You are cataloging us. We are preparing to save every species that can be saved, Minji replied. But salvation requires complete knowledge of what we are trying to preserve. As the human ships completed their work, Captain Hyunwoo understood that the galaxy had already lost its independence. The only question now was whether it would survive long enough to regain it. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet before. Representatives from over 200 different species sat in complete silence as Captain Hyunwoo finished telling them what he had learned. The floating light displays that Dr. Young Mai had provided showed images that would give anyone terrible dreams. The Devourers eat life itself, Dr. Young Mi explained to all the gathered representatives. She was a human historian who looked young, but spoke with the wisdom of someone who had studied the galaxy's darkest secrets for many years. They do not just destroy civilizations. They learn from them. Every species they eat makes them smarter, stronger, and more dangerous. Ambassador Seok Jin of the Ethereal Coalition stood up slowly. His people were known for being calm and wise, but his voice shook as he spoke. Dr. Youngmi, you say these creatures are coming back. How can you be sure? The human woman touched a control device, and the displays changed to show deep space sensor readings. Strange signals came from the darkness between galaxies. Our long-range sensors have been watching the void for centuries, she said. 3 months ago, we found the first scout ships. They are still very far away, but they are moving toward us. We calculate 50 standard years before they reach the outer systems. War Chief Gildong of the Apex Union hit his armored fist on his seat. The Apex were a warrior species bred for battle and conquest. Why should we believe anything humans say? He growled loudly. They have been spying on us for thousands of years. They know our weaknesses, our military secrets, everything about us. Dr. Somin, who had stayed on Earth to study human technology, stepped forward. War Chief, I have seen what they can do. The humans could have conquered the entire galaxy at any time they wanted. Instead, they protected us from threats we did not even know existed. Protected us? Gildong stood up, his massive body towering over the other delegates. Or studied us like insects in a cage. Captain Hyunwoo tried to keep peace between them. The important thing is the devourer threat. If Dr. Youngmi is correct, interrupted another voice. Fleet Admiral Boram of the Central Defense Force had been quiet until now. She was known for her smart battle mind and her distrust of anything she could not control. Captain, these humans have access to our most secret information. They know our ship designs, our battle plans, our government secrets. How do we know this devourer threat is not just a story to make us accept their control? Dr. Youngmi turned on another floating image. This one showed the ruins of dead civilizations scattered across distant galaxies. Because, Admiral, the devourers have done this before. In the Andromeda Galaxy, in the Magellanic Clouds, and 17 other galactic clusters, we have proof of their path of destruction going back millions of years. The images were horrible to look at. Entire star systems drained of all life, planets reduced to empty shells, the remains of once great civilizations floating in the emptiness of space. Ambassador Seok-jin studied the images carefully. Even if we accept that this threat is real, why did humans not warn us sooner? Why keep the secret for so long? Because, said a new voice, you would have reacted exactly as you are reacting now. Everyone turned to see Admiral Jin Ho entering the chamber. Behind him walked Human Fleet Commander Sun Ho, a woman whose calm behavior could not hide the dangerous intelligence in her eyes. Admiral Jin Ho, Captain Hyunwoo said, the Council was not expecting you to come here. The Council was not expecting us to exist at all, Captain. But things have changed. War Chief Gildong pointed an accusing finger at the human admiral. Your people have been controlling galactic events for thousands of years. How do we know you are not the real threat? Fleet Commander Sun Ho smiled coldly. Would you like us to show you, War Chief? Before anyone could respond, the chamber's lights flickered. When they became steady again, human soldiers stood behind every delegate's chair. They had appeared without sound, without warning, without setting off any security systems. How? Admiral Bo-Ram whispered, her hand moving toward her weapon. Please do not try, Commander Sun-ho said politely. Your weapon will not work anyway. We have temporarily disabled all energy weapons in this chamber. The security guards tried to fire their weapons, but nothing happened. The delegates looked around with growing panic in their eyes. This is exactly why we remained hidden, Admiral Jin-ho said. Our technology is so far ahead that any demonstration scares, rather than reassures people. Ambassador Seok-jin forced himself to remain calm. Admiral, what is the purpose of this display? Commander Sun-ho made a gesture, and the human soldiers disappeared as suddenly as they had appeared. To show you that if we wanted to conquer the galaxy, you would already be conquered. Instead, we offer partnership against a common enemy. War Chief Gildong was furious. Partnership? This is a threat! You have just shown us that you can appear anywhere, anytime with weapons we cannot detect. Actually, Dr. Somin said quietly, they have shown us something else. Did anyone notice that the human soldiers appeared behind our chairs, not in front of them? They positioned themselves to protect us from outside threats, not to threaten us directly. Captain Hyunwoo realized she was right. Even while making a show of force, the humans had positioned themselves as guardians, not as captors. Admiral Jin Ho nodded with approval. Dr. Somin understands. We are not here to threaten you. We are here to prepare you. Prepare us for what? Admiral Bo-Ram demanded. Dr. Young-mi turned on a final floating image. This one showed a massive fleet of dark ships coming out of the void between galaxies. For this, she said, the Devourer fleet, our sensors show over 10,000 ships, each one able to eat a planet. They have learned from every species they have destroyed. They know every weakness, every strength, every battle method used by galactic civilizations. The chamber fell silent again as the representatives stared at the approaching nightmare. How do we fight them? Ambassador Seok-jin asked. You do not, Commander Sun-ho said bluntly. Your current technology, your current tactics, your current understanding of warfare, none of it will work against the Devourers. They have faced and defeated civilizations far more advanced than yours. Then what do you suggest? Admiral Bo-Ram asked. Admiral Jin Ho stepped forward. Complete military integration. Human command structure, human technology, human tactics. We have been preparing for this war for 5,000 years. We know how to fight the Devourers. War Chief Gildong exploded with rage. You want us to surrender our independence to you? I want you to survive, Admiral Jin Ho replied calmly. The Devourers cannot be defeated by a divided galaxy. They can only be defeated by a unified force with the proper technology and tactics. Dr. Young-mi brought up another display, this one showing human ships and weapons designed specifically to fight the Devourers. Our weapons disrupt their energy absorption abilities. Our ships can phase through their attacks. Our tactics are based on 5,000 years of studying their methods. Captain Hyunwoo looked around the chamber. He could see fear in every face, but also something else. Hope, perhaps, or desperation. What happens if we refuse? He asked. Commander Sunho's expression grew sad. Then we will withdraw back to our hidden dimension, Captain. We will seal ourselves away and wait for the Devourers to finish with the galaxy. Eventually they will move on to other galaxies and we will emerge to whatever remains. You would abandon us? We would survive, Admiral Jinho said. But we would prefer to save you. Ambassador Seokjin stood up slowly. How long do we have to decide? The Council has 30 standard days to vote, Dr. Youngmi replied. After that we begin final preparations, with or without you. As the humans prepared to leave, War Chief Gildong called out, And if we vote against you, what then? Admiral Jinho paused at the chamber doors. Then, War Chief, you will face the Devourers with the same technology and tactics that have failed every other civilization they have encountered. I hope your warrior pride is worth the extinction of your species. The doors closed behind the humans, leaving the Galactic Council to think about an impossible choice. Surrender their freedom to humanity, or face complete destruction at the hands of an ancient enemy. Admiral Jinho walked through the docking doors like he owned the entire ship. Behind him came Dr. Sujin and another human in a black uniform. They moved with quiet confidence, their eyes looking at every detail of the Harmony's edge as if they were studying it. Captain Hyunwoo stepped forward and tried to smile. Welcome aboard, Admiral. I am honored to meet you. Jinho nodded politely, but his face stayed serious. Captain, the honor is shared. However, I must tell you that this meeting was bound to happen. We have been watching your ship since it left Council space 3 months ago. Dr. So-min felt her blood turn ice cold. 3 months? But that cannot be possible. We have been using the most advanced hiding systems in the galaxy. The man in the black uniform smiled just a little. Dr. So-min, your advanced hiding is based on technology that is over 400 years old. We helped create the original systems. What? Commander Taeho stepped forward, his hand moving toward his weapon. That is impossible. Humans are not in our databases. You do not exist in our records. Commander, please keep your weapon where it is, Admiral Jinho said calmly. We do not wish to hurt you. And you are correct. Humans do not exist in your official records. We made sure of that. Captain Hyunwoo pointed toward the conference room. Perhaps we should sit and discuss this properly. As they walked through the ship, Dr. Sujin spoke quietly to Dr. So-min. Your research on the Vorthon species was excellent, by the way. Your paper on their mating habits was particularly good to read. So-min stopped walking completely. How do you know about my research? That paper was secret council information. Dr. So-min, we know about all council research. We have known for a very long time. In the conference room, Admiral Jinho took out a small device. The air shimmered and suddenly the room filled with floating images made of light. Star maps, ship designs, and countless documents floated in the air around them. What you are seeing, Jinho said, is a small piece of humanity's knowledge about galactic civilization. We have detailed records of every species, every government, every major event for the past 3,000 years. Captain Hyunwoo stared at the floating displays. He could see reports about wars that had happened decades ago, detailed studies of alien biology, and complete technical plans for every type of council ship. This cannot be real, he whispered. Dr. Sujin touched another control, and the displays changed. Now they showed images of a planet under attack. Strange dark ships fired beams of energy that made entire cities disappear into nothing. This is Earth 5,000 years ago, she said. We were a young species just beginning to explore space. Then they came. The images showed creatures that seemed to be made of shadow and hunger. They moved through space without ships, eating planets and everything living on them. The Devourers, Admiral Jinho said. They ate entire civilizations. Every species they destroyed made them stronger, more intelligent, more dangerous. Earth was one of their targets. Dr. So-min watched in horror as the creatures attacked human cities. What happened to your people? We ran, Dr. Sujin said simply, but not in the way you might think. Our best scientists created a machine that could move our entire solar system out of normal space. We moved Earth and everything around it into a parallel dimension. The man in black spoke for the first time. I am Commander Dongmin, Earth's technology specialist. The phase shift saved us, but it also trapped us. We could see the galaxy, but no one could see us. Taeho leaned forward. If you were hidden, how do you know so much about galactic civilization? Because we never stopped watching. Admiral Jinho replied. We built observation posts throughout the galaxy. We sent scouts to every major world. We learned your languages, studied your cultures, and watched your development. Captain Hyunwoo felt sick to his stomach. You have been spying on us for thousands of years? We have been protecting you, Commander Dongmin corrected. Do you think it was luck that the Khazarian Empire fell before they could enslave half the galaxy? Do you believe the Void Plague just mysteriously stopped spreading on its own? The floating images showed incident after incident. Wars that ended unexpectedly, diseases that disappeared overnight, evil leaders who died at just the right moment to prevent disasters. Humans, Dr. Sujin explained, have been the galaxy's hidden guardians. We stopped threats before they could grow large enough to destroy civilizations. Dr. Somin stared at all the evidence floating around them. But why? Why protect species you have never officially met? Admiral Jinho's expression grew very dark. Because the Devourers are not gone, Dr. Somin. They are sleeping in the void between galaxies, waiting for the right time to return. And when they do, they will be hungrier and more powerful than ever before. The room became completely silent. Outside the conference room windows, they could see the human fleet surrounding them. Hundreds of ships that had appeared from nowhere, powered by technology that should not exist. How long do we have? Captain Hyunwoo asked quietly. Our deep space sensors detected the first Devourer scout 6 months ago, Commander Dongmin said. They are still very far away, but they are coming toward us. We estimate 50 years before they reach the outer edge of the galaxy. Taeho stood up angrily. Then why are you hiding? If this threat is real, why are you not helping us prepare? Why keep yourselves secret? Admiral Jinho turned on another floating image. This one showed detailed technical plans for human weapons and ships. Because, Commander, our help would terrify you more than the Devourers themselves. The plans were incredible. Ships that could move through solid matter, weapons that could break apart the basic forces holding atoms together, and energy sources that seemed to break the laws of physics. We are not the same species that hid from the Devourers 5,000 years ago, Dr. Sujin said. Centuries of isolation and preparation have changed us. We have developed technologies that make us more powerful than any civilization in the galaxy. Dr. Somin studied the weapon plans with growing fear. These designs, they are specifically made to fight every known galactic species. This weapon breaks ethereal energy fields. This one goes through apex armor. This one messes with Vorthan neural networks. You have been studying us to learn how to fight us, Captain Hyunwoo said. We have been studying you to learn how to save you, Admiral Jinho replied. But salvation and conquest sometimes need the same knowledge. Commander Dongmin brought up another display. It showed massive construction projects in the space around Earth. Enormous ships were being built, each one larger than a space station. We have been preparing for the Devourer's return, he said, but we have also been preparing for something else. The possibility that galactic civilization might not trust us to help them. Captain Hyunwoo looked at his crew. Dr. Somin was pale with shock. Taeho was staring at the weapon displays with obvious fear in his eyes. What do you want from us? Hyunwoo asked. Admiral Jinho stood up. We want you to return to the Galactic Council and tell them the truth. Humanity exists. We have been watching and protecting the galaxy for thousands of years. The Devourers are returning, and we are the only ones with the power to stop them. And if the Council does not believe us? Dr. Sujin smiled sadly. Captain, the Council will believe you. The question is whether they will accept our help, or whether they will try to destroy us first. Admiral Jinho turned off the floating images. You have 3 days to make your decision, Captain. Return to Council space and deliver our message or remain here as our guests. But you will not be allowed to leave without making a choice. As the humans prepared to leave, Dr. Somin grabbed Dr. Sujin's arm. Why reveal yourselves now? Why not stay hidden? Dr. Sujin looked at her with eyes that seemed much older than her face suggested. Because, Dr. Somin, the time for hiding is over. The Devourers are coming, and this time, we cannot face them alone. Captain Hyunwoo pressed his face against the cold viewport of his ship. The stars outside looked normal, but something felt wrong. His exploration vessel, the Harmony's Edge, was the best ship in the entire Galactic Council fleet. It could find a small moon from 50 light-years away, but right now his instruments were telling him impossible things. Dr. Somin, check those readings again, he said to his science officer. The tall woman with quick hands worked at her control panel. She had found more new worlds than anyone else in the galaxy. Her fingers moved fast across the buttons and screens. "Captain, the numbers are still the same," she said. Her voice sounded worried. "We are reading massive energy everywhere, but I cannot see anything. The star maps say this area has been empty for 3,000 years. Hyunwoo walked closer to the big window. Space looked peaceful. Little stars dotted the darkness like tiny lights, but their machines kept screaming that something huge was hiding out there. "Maybe our equipment is broken?" asked Commander Taeho. He was the ship's military officer and always looked for simple answers. "No." Dr. Somin shook her head hard. "I tested everything 3 times. The energy pattern is like nothing we have ever seen before. It looks like..." She stopped and studied her screen more carefully. "It looks like there is a giant invisible wall covering an entire star system." Everyone on the bridge went quiet. Hiding technology existed in the galaxy, but nothing could hide a whole solar system. The power needed would be impossible for any known civilization. "Captain," the communications officer called out suddenly, "something strange is happening." The main screen flickered and changed. Suddenly they could see it clearly. A beautiful blue and green planet hung in space in front of them. A bright yellow star warmed it, and several moons moved around it. Strange metal objects flew between the moons. "Where did that come from?" Hyunwoo whispered. Dr. Somin's hands flew over her controls like a musician playing a song. "The invisible wall just turned off, Captain. I am reading over 8 billion living beings on that planet. Their technology looks very advanced." The planet was the most beautiful thing any of them had ever seen. White clouds swirled over blue oceans and green land. City lights sparkled on the dark side like scattered diamonds. It looked so peaceful and welcoming. "Start first contact procedures," Hyunwoo ordered. "If people live there, we need to..." Warning alarms suddenly screamed through the ship. Red lights flashed everywhere like angry eyes. "Captain," Taeho shouted over the loud noise. "Multiple military scans are hitting us." "Very powerful scans!" The peaceful scene outside changed in seconds. Across the planet's surface, huge structures began glowing with dangerous energy. What looked like mountains suddenly showed they were really enormous weapon platforms. The space around the planet filled with ships that appeared from nowhere. "How many ships?" Hyunwoo demanded. "Hundreds, sir. Maybe thousands." They were completely invisible until now. Dr. Somin stared at her readings with wide eyes. "Captain, these ships do not match anything we know about. Their power is beyond anything in our databases. And the planet, it is not just a home for people. It has been turned into a fortress." More ships kept appearing like magic. They came from behind the planet's moons, from rock fields in space, from what looked like empty nothing. Each ship was different from the others, but they all felt dangerous and powerful. "Sir," the communications officer said with a shaky voice, "we are getting a message. Put it on the screen." The main display changed to show a human face. The man wore a dark blue uniform with symbols none of them recognized. His eyes were calm but sharp, like someone who had fought many battles and won them all. "Galactic Council Vessel Harmony's Edge," the man said in perfect galactic language. "This is Admiral Jin Ho of Earth Defense Command. You have entered protected space. Tell us why you are here." Hyunwoo stepped forward and tried to look confident. "Admiral Jin Ho, I am Captain Hyunwoo of the Galactic Council. We found unusual energy readings and came to investigate. We meant no harm. We did not know anyone lived in this system." The Admiral's face did not change. "Captain, your Galactic Council has been watched by us for over 2,000 years. We know who you are and what you do. The question is, why are you here now?" Dr. Somin grabbed Hyunwoo's arm tight. "Captain, did he say 2,000 years? How is that possible?" Admiral Jinho seemed to hear her question. "Dr. Somin, your confusion makes sense. Your people think this area of space has been empty since your first maps were made. You are wrong. Humans have lived here much longer than your civilization has existed." The people on the bridge looked at each other with fear and confusion. If this was true, everything they knew about galactic history was wrong. "Admiral," Hyunwoo said carefully, "we would like to learn more about your people. Perhaps we could meet and talk?" "That meeting is already planned, Captain. One of our ships will connect with yours soon. You will be brought to our vessel for discussion. Do not try to leave or call other ships. Your vessel is surrounded right now." The screen went dark. Captain Hyunwoo looked around his bridge at his scared crew. "Sir," Taeho said quietly, "our sensors show we really are surrounded. There are at least 50 ships in a circle around us. They appeared without making any sound or movement that we could detect." Dr. Somin was studying the planet more carefully now. Captain, I am seeing things that should not be possible. Cities that go on for thousands of kilometers, factories that are bigger than anything in the galaxy. Energy production that is more than entire star systems should be able to make. A new ship appeared right in front of them. It was smooth and dark with no weapons they could see, but it felt powerful like a contained star. New message coming in, the communications officer announced. The screen showed a different human, this time a woman in a white uniform. Captain Hyunwoo, I am Dr. Soo-jin, Earth's expert on alien species and first contact. I will be coming to your vessel to begin talks. Please prepare your docking area. Dr. Soo-jin, Hyunwoo said, we appreciate your willingness to meet. However, our rules usually require... Captain, Dr. Soo-jin interrupted gently. We already know all Galactic Council rules. We have been studying them for centuries. Your docking area has been prepared using your own specifications. We will arrive in exactly 3 minutes. The message ended. Hyunwoo looked at his crew with growing worry. How do they know our rules? Dr. Soman asked. How do they know our ship designs? Captain, these humans have been watching us. For how long? Before anyone could answer, the ship shook slightly as the human vessel connected with theirs. Sir, Taeho reported. They have docked perfectly without any help from us. They knew exactly how our systems work. Captain Hyunwoo straightened his uniform and walked toward the docking area. Behind him, Dr. Soman gathered her equipment with shaking hands. They had come here looking for an empty star system, and instead found a civilization that seemed to know everything about them. As he walked through the ship's hallways, one thought kept running through Hyunwoo's mind. If these humans had been hiding here for thousands of years, watching and learning about the galaxy, what did that mean for everyone else? The docking doors opened and Captain Hyunwoo prepared to meet people from a species that had been the galaxy's greatest secret.